So if you're watching this video right now, you probably had a job before and they had a 401k plan. Now you're leaving or already left or got fired, whatever happened. And now you're wondering, what exactly do I do with that 401k balance, okay? And how do I take the money out without paying penalties and taxes and so on? In this video, I'm gonna give you 5 options on how to actually do this the smart way. By the way, I once knew about this guy. I still know of him, just don't talk to him that often anymore. But he actually had a 401k. When he left this job, he decided to basically take the money with him, and it cost them a bunch of money. And that's really what you don't want to do, okay? Now, as always, guys, like this video on top. Also subscribe and hit the bell to get notified. But he really wasn't aware of how everything works. So in this video, you won't have that problem. Now, the very first thing that you could do is basically what he did. And that's basically cash out. Cash out basically means you're going to liquidate your 401k and take cash in your hand today. Now, people often forget that a 401k is a pre-tax account, meaning when you put money in there and you go ahead and deduct it from your taxes, you're investing money without paying any taxes on it. It grows tax-free, but eventually you will have to take money out and you will have to pay the tax then. The benefit is though, okay, you don't put taxes today, so that money grows tax-free, and then later on you can take the money out and then you pay taxes all the way when you're like in your 60s and 70s and so on. That's the big benefit, okay? So whenever you choose to go ahead and liquidate the account, well, you know there will be a penalty and you will be taxed on the amount you're taking out because you never paid tax in the first place. Now, I went online and I actually found, for example, this picture, which I want to share with you guys, which is actually very important, okay? But this picture shows you exactly what would happen if you had $50,000 invested into a 401k and you decided to go ahead and basically cash out. First of all, you would have a penalty of around 10%. So automatically that is $5,000 gone. On top of that, you will be hit with federal taxes and state taxes on that 50k also because it never paid tax in the first place. And once you get to breaking down everything and running through all the numbers, what you're actually left over with after a whopping $50,000 is more like about, the numbers right here, it's about $29,500. So between penalty and taxes, you basically lose out on almost $20,500, not almost, that's how much you lose out on, okay? It's ridiculous depending on the state you actually live, okay? So that's all money you could have left in there to keep working for you and making more money for your future. And that's why usually cashing out is one of the least things you actually want to do. Especially if you have, for example, different programs. So if you're gonna be like a first-time homeowner, you can kind of get around that. You have an emergency sometimes, you can even borrow money out of it. There are other options to then just go ahead and take the money out because it costs you so much money and it's very expensive. Now, number 2 is you can always roll that money into a traditional IRA. A traditional IRA is an individual retirement account. It's also a pre-tax account. So it allows you to take the money from a 401k, which is basically pre-tax, over to the IRA, which is basically open up with Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab's, or any brokerage out there. And you can basically transfer that money over there without paying any penalties or paying any taxes. Because in reality, you're not selling or taking money. You're moving it from one place to another place, okay? So when you open the account up with Vanguard or Fidelity or Schwab's, they basically help you with the transfer and everything like that. So they handle everything, okay? But the big benefit is, okay, you're able to pick your own investments now. So if you want to sell the old ones you had, you can. You can buy new ones, like for example, just investing into the S&P 500 or putting your money into whatever you want to put it into. Me personally, I only invest into the S&P 500 and that is more than enough, okay? So one big con is though, okay, so if you do this, you gotta understand traditional IRAs, they have, for example, RDMs, which is basically mandatory withdrawals. So at a certain point, once you hit 71, I think, actually I have the numbers right here, I want to be specific. Once you hit, for example, 73, you will have to start taking money out mandatorily because in reality, why? Because the government wants to get paid their taxes. So they want you to take money out once you get to around that age. So that way they can actually start making some money back from the money they actually didn't tax you back then, okay? Now, the third option is going to be you can always roll it over into your new employer's 401k plan. Now, why would you do this? Because basically, you're able to just keep investing more money, which is great stuff, right? But on top of that, depending on the state you're actually in, they provide for you more protection. Like people that you owe money to, like creditors, they can't really go after your 401k, but they could go after different like traditional areas and so on. Okay, so that's kind of different, all right? So they do provide some protection. It is a little bit more easier too, by the way. So you could do that potentially, but me personally, I would probably go with the second option, is basically transfer that money into a traditional IRA. But if you wanted to, you could ask your employer, your new employer, and say, hey, is it possible for me to transfer my balance from my old 401k over to my new 401k? And they could have a program where they actually allow you to do this without any issues, okay? So if you want to do that, ask your HR department. Now, number 4 is my favorite, which is basically Roth IRA ladder. Now, the Roth IRA is a post-tax account. I call it post-tax, but it basically means you invest the money you already paid tax on. So that money grows tax-free, and on top of that, you don't get taxed when you take the money out whatsoever because you already paid taxes in the very beginning. Now, people don't like it because they say, well, why would I do that? Like, why not just put my money in, get a deduction today, and then later I pay taxes? In reality, you don't want to do that because later is when you're going to need all that money. So imagine you have $1 million, you're forced into taking money out, on top of you're forced into paying a bunch of taxes then. But it's better to have $1 million in a Roth IRA, and when you take money out, all that money is yours, and you're not forced into taking money out either whenever you want to, okay? Because you don't have, for example, mandatory withdrawals with a Roth IRA. So how do you do this, okay? Because it is more complicated. The answer is easy. You could, for example, grab the 401k, transfer the full balance into an IRA, traditional IRA, right? So that's free, no penalty whatsoever. But to transfer money from an IRA to a Roth IRA, remember, okay, you're going from pre-tax to post-tax. So if you transfer the full balance, well, on that balance, you won't get penalized, right? Because there's no penalties, all retirement here, but you will have to pay taxes on that amount, what you should have paid in the first place. So if you have a bunch of money, it will be a big tax bill. So I recommend you go, for example, in chunks. If you have 50K and you don't have that much money, do, for example, 20K 1 year, you pay tax on that 20K, next year 20K, pay tax on that, then 10K, you pay the rest of the taxes or whatever, okay? But that's like a way to do it also, if you don't want to do the full amount. And I have money in a 401k, and that's exactly how I'm gonna go about doing it, okay? Because in reality, if you take all the money out and you get hit, for example, with a 20% tax bill, well, that might be a good chunk of money that you may not have. And the goal is you want to have that money in cash so you don't have to basically take money out of your investments, right? Because all those dollars make you more dollars in the future, so you don't want to take money out whatsoever. Now, the fifth and final, and by the way, I love this option because in reality, I love Roth IRAs. It grows the money tax-free, and on top of that, also, you're able to take money out in the future without paying any taxes whatsoever. That's cool. Now, on top of that, guys, you also have, for example, the fifth option, which is basically you do nothing. And I don't recommend this. In reality, the thing is, okay, a lot of 401ks and, for example, employer plans, they have a lot of fees and nonsense investments. In reality, you're better off taking that money, put it into a traditional IRA, picking your own investments, and then dealing with the taxes as you want to later on, okay? So I would not just basically have that money there. And you might ask me, Tommy, what if the company actually goes bankrupt? The answer is, well, the company and your 401k are different things, okay? So that doesn't matter. What will happen is if the company goes bankrupt, you will grab that money and it will be sent over and transfer over into a new account, and then boom, you still have it, okay? It's not like company goes bankrupt, lose your 401k, it doesn't really matter, okay? What I'm worried about is like all the fees and how they manage that thing and all that stuff, so I wouldn't just leave the money there. Those are 5 good options as far as what to go ahead and do with your new 401k or your old 401k from your old job. That is the idea. My favorite one is number 4. But number 2 you could use in the meantime while you work out to do a number 4, because number 4, it does cost money, right? Because you do have to pay taxes on what you should have paid taxes on originally. But you will thank yourself later when you have a bunch of money and there is no tax to be paid. So that's awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. On top, also up here is another banger. Over here is my face, and subscribe. And as always, long-term team officially out. And comment down below exactly which one of these are you going to do. Peace.